This is the agenda for today. And then we will look into the questions that you can ask companies before you accept a job or while you're interviewing itself, right? Going forward, domain knowledge, a lot of questions are not asked on these fronts, but then a few might be asked, especially if you're just getting started. You are not expected to have a lot of domain knowledge, but then having domain knowledge gives you a clear advantage. So understanding of the domain you're working in, looking to work in, and this is different knowledge for different domains like pharma, telecom, education, HR, media, etc. Like I said, each domain has its own trade secrets, so to say, and if you know that, and if you've used that to build a project, right, and you're applying, let's say you have some domain knowledge in pharma, and you're applying to a pharmaceutical company and saying that, hey, I know how clinical trials work, I know how to extract patient information from clinical trials using natural language processing, and I've done this was my project. And now this is showing a lot of things here, right? This is showing how you know how clinical trials work, which is again a very domain specific thing. You know how pharmaceutical companies are looking for this kind of knowledge, and you know how NLP techniques work, you know how to extract stuff from that, you know how to use a computer to do that. So you are using the entire set of skills that you have to do that project. And this is the kind of project that would be very useful for a pharmaceutical company, right? But this might not be useful for a media company. You can't go and say a media company that I did something in clinical trials. Look at that, unless it is WikiLeaks kind of a thing, which is something that you could also do and then show it to, yeah. Like for example, if you go to WikiLeaks data set, it's huge, right? You can go out and find some relationship between those things, and go to a media house, and they'll hire you. So that's about domain knowledge. Broad understanding of the use cases where data can be applied to solve domain problems is very useful. And typically, not a lot of questions are asked on domain knowledge. A lot of the questions are on, like I said, if you can program, if you can understand math, if you can understand the different techniques to work with data. This is an added advantage every time if you know the domain really well. All right, so let's move on to the questions to ask companies. And this is again very subjective. This, I think, depends a lot on the company itself, the profile of the company, and the kind of aspiration you have for that company. But I will just show you a few questions that I think you could ask. No, okay. So you can ask companies things like, what are the problems you are working on? So this will help you understand if they actually understand what they're trying to solve, and they know their way around things, right? Because what is happening in the data science world is a lot of companies are not aware of what can be done, or they don't even know the kind of problems they're working on, which is, I think, a negative there, right? If at least you know what you can work on, and if you're like, okay, we are just hiring a data scientist so that we have some dump of data, and he will come and find something from that, and then we will build a product, which is okay, but then it also shows that you've not strategically thought about that, about using data as a resource, right? So this is a question you could ask. How do you see the solutions of these problems impacting the business? So if you are going to build a data science product, is this a product that is very important to the business? Is this a product that is something they are building just to say that they are building AI ML solutions? Is this something that is likely to be shelved within an year? All these things. I don't know about a lot of you here, but I don't think most of us, or maybe most of us, wouldn't like to work on a project for an year or two to just see it getting shut down, right? That's not something you want to do. So to ask these questions, do you have a data strategy? The answer will help you understand if they have or not, and this will help you understand if they really understand what they're doing. A lot of understands there, but okay. Do you have a team already for the data science role or ML role? How many people are there on the team? What do they do? Do they understand their stuff that they're doing? And are there people with different roles? For example, data engineers on the team. Like a lot of companies talk about doing data science, but they don't have a data engineer, and nobody is there to build the pipeline. And then you go in as a data scientist, and half of the time you would be doing data engineers work, right? So ask these questions so that you actually get a clear idea of what you are going to do there. And yeah, the fifth question is data an integral part of the company, which is again tied to the second question. How do you see the solutions of these problems impacting the business? So these are a few questions I think you can think of own questions that matter to you and ask companies to be transparent about what you're going to work on, and this will help you choose the right company. All right, with that said, I think we are done. Thank you so much for listening.